Hey McBIC, nice to be with you today. It is not as beautiful a day as some others have been, a little bit cold, kind of rainy, but we roll with it. Every day seems a little bit different, and sometimes our mood fluctuates with the weather too, if you're anything like me. But it's good to be with you today. I wanted to talk about a concept that really I think the Lord has impressed upon my heart this whole quarantine, and it's the idea of productivity and redefining the concept of productivity. So when this first started 7 weeks ago, I think a lot of us wondered, how are we going to accomplish the things we used to accomplish? What if this gets canceled, my activities gets canceled, my kids' activities get canceled? All these things felt like we were losing our ability to be productive. And especially when the stay-at-home order started and we realized we'd have to literally be in our houses, I think the question came up, how are we going to get anything done? And this is a very American question for us to ask, because we kind of base our value and our worth a lot of times on how much we can accomplish and what we can get done. That's a phrase we say often. And I think that translates into our definition of productivity. I think many of us would say our definition is how much I can accomplish, how much I can get done in a certain amount of time. That's how productive I was that day. And the Lord has really been challenging my definition of that word. For me, I've never been too worried about how many tasks I can accomplish, but I think I've always been worried about how socially productive I can be. So how many friends can I hang out with? How many students can I pour into? How many people can I see today? And maybe even it was just subconscious, because that's how I'm wired, is a very social person. And so I've always wanted to be doing things, and if I had a night at home that was without people, I would actually feel anxious if I had to spend one night at home. Say it was a Thursday night and I had nothing to do. I would start feeling anxious because I wasn't being socially productive. And it made me feel lonely, it made me feel strange. And so I don't know what this quarantine has removed for you. Maybe the biggest loss for you has felt the ability to be productive at work. Maybe your kids are running around and you can't get the same amount of work done, so productivity at work has slipped. Maybe it is kind of social productivity, like you don't get to see the people you thought you would see, and so that part of you feels like, well, what am I even doing? Or fill in the blank. Maybe you're just feeling like you're not accomplishing anything. And I really want us to challenge that notion. Who's to say that sitting in silence at your home for an hour is accomplishing nothing? I know on paper that feels like you're accomplishing nothing, but in reality, you're recharging your body, you're resting your mind and your spirit. Hopefully in that time, if you're sitting just kind of in silence, you're spending that time with Jesus, just recognizing his presence around you. I would argue that that could be a productive time. We just need to challenge what we really think productive means. There's a passage that I think speaks directly to this in Matthew chapter 6. And I've often heard this taught about money and possessions, and I think it can be, but I think it can also be about like the possessions of our heart, what we want to accomplish, what we want to get done. So verse 19 says, "Don't store up treasures here on earth, where moths eat them and rust destroys them, and where thieves break in and steal. Store your treasures in heaven, where moths and rust cannot destroy, and thieves do not break in and steal. Wherever your treasure is, there the desires of your heart will also be." So I think the common meaning is possessions, right? Our physical possessions. But I want to extend it to beyond that, to mean the possessions of our hearts. What are you valuing? The things that you can accomplish, the things you're normally productive with, you value those things, but are they really things that are productive in the eyes of the kingdom? And how can we shift our focus during this time where we're literally told to stop, to rest, to be still? How can we reshape the definition of productive to be productive in the kingdom? Are you doing devos with the Lord? Are you spending time with Him? Are you sharing your life with your family? Are you resting in His presence? Are you reaching out to people that you wouldn't have had time to reach out to otherwise? Are you looking for areas to help people who may be hurt from this pandemic? Like, these are ways that we can be productive, and they don't necessarily need to fit a timeline. They don't necessarily need to stress us out every single day, but they're things we can pour our hearts into, because then that's where our treasure will be too. There's no coincidence, I don't think, that the passage right after this is the passage about worry that says, do not worry about what you will eat and what you will drink. I mean, that is, if we could just read that chapter, Matthew 6, over and over and over again, that'd be healthy for us during this quarantine. So I challenge you, wherever you're feeling stressed, wherever you're feeling like you're not enough, you're not doing enough, or maybe you failed because you haven't gotten enough done, let some of that go. Release that pressure from yourself and instead ask the question to the Lord, God, how can I be productive in your kingdom? How can I change that definition of productivity to release me from the pressures of the American stressful society and instead just work to be a builder of your kingdom in this time? I really think it's going to provide us a lot of freedom and also some creativity in ways to build the kingdom. So we love you guys. We're trying to figure this whole thing out too, so give yourself some grace if you're not the best parent, if you're not the best child, if you're not the best teacher or engineer or whatever you are in this time. Give yourself a little bit of grace. We're all trying to figure it out, and let's figure out how we can build the kingdom and rest in His presence. Thanks. See you later.